dug out the fire pit, and as you can see, the bottom is yellow. That is our clay soil. So I don't tend to dig any further than that because it's really hard. It's also inside, so you're like, oh cool, it's a red layer. Actually it isn't. It's this stuff, but a little less dense. But my clay fires red. See? There's regular clay under there. So that means that got hot. It's the firing edge of my kiln. So I've got the initial heating fire started. And now it's a matter of getting the pit dry and hot. Get a nice layer of hot coals down at the bottom. And then we'll make our floor and start adding the pottery. I'll be keeping an eye on the fire, because my the wind direction normally is from the front to the back. So if there isn't a lot of wind, but there still is some. So if the naked flame touches the pottery, I'll move the fire more to the front, because I want indirect heat, radiant heat, to heat the ceramics, not direct heat. We never want direct heat on the pots, especially not a point of heat like a coal, so we get too much stress on the inside of the pottery. I mean, at some point we'll have direct heat, but then everything's already at the same temperature. So until there's a temperature equilibrium between the fire and the pottery, no direct heat. Yep, it's time to move it off a little bit. So this is the last kiln heating fire. I've got a nice layer of coals. It's actually too hot for the pottery right now, so we're letting this burn down. Ash over a little bit. And then I'm gonna add the granite stones. Challenge is to have them warm, but not hotter than the pots, because then they can still crack the pots. So I pulled them away from the fire a little bit, as that edge was significantly warmer than the other. But other than that, everything is going just as planned. It's looking good. So the next step will be to add the false floor, add the pottery, and then put in a roof structure of wood, and then slowly raise the temperature of the pottery. And at first by burning the roof over the pottery, not right on top, so it's still indirect heat. So first we're heating them up with indirect heat on the edge of the fire, and then we're heating them up with indirect heat in the middle of the kiln. At least that's the theory. That's what's worked before. So I made a few adjustments. See if I can get the process to work even more dependently, and we'll see. And even if it doesn't, it's a beautiful day to hang out around the fire. So no loss there. I don't know if you can see it in the movie, but the pottery was light grey and it's actually starting to reddish a little bit. It's got a tiny bit of a purple haze to it. It's really warm in there. Unfortunately, I only have one heat glove. On the other hand, now I have one hand that is easier to articulate, because in the heat gloves you can't really touch very easily, manipulate very easily. So the next step is to build a roof, and build a roof without dropping anything on them, because they are still very fragile. But I haven't lost anything yet, so we're doing good. So we've got the fire going on top, the coals and pottery are underneath the roof, and I can see where this would work to help acclimate the pottery to the heat, because it's getting a beautiful radiant heat which is reflected by the ceiling. The ceiling is gonna get hot and hotter and hotter, but by that time the pottery will be pretty much at cold temperature. So I keep adding fairly thick wood, let's call them the rafters of wooden pallets, or thicker bonfire wood, and I'm adding them still as a roof, and I'm finding that this open fire is very, very hot. There's a lot of red hot ashes now in the pit. I haven't heard anything explode yet. I am seeing pottery. The pottery is white to going red. So I'll keep this fire up for about an hour at least. Probably until I run out of wood. And I would have burned about 5 pallets worth, perhaps, but big ones. a lot of thick pine, a better quality than I normally get. And they're all broken down too, so I'm adding them little bits at a time to prolong the firing. So for now, this is looking good. This is looking very promising. So we're getting towards the end. It's starting to fill up with coals. I'm not able to see the tops of the pots anymore. Starting to get dark too. The sun has just set. So I've been cleaning out some flat area around the pit, and I will be banking with metal sheathing. I think I can bank with white planks of wood as well, but I only have pallets and they're all of different heights and different widths, and I'm worried that I can't quite bank it well enough to keep the oxygen out. So for now I'll be using the metal because I know that works. So hopefully I didn't toss in any wood too enthusiastically and break a pot that way, because as far as I heard, I did not hear a single ping, and that is very promising. So we'll see. It's the magic of pit firing. You have a surprise waiting for you at the end of, well, I have several days, because it will take several days for the pit to cool down. But yeah, you have a surprise waiting for you. Oh, and actually, if you look at the pit right now, with the way the light is, you can see that I've baked the edges of my pit. I've used this is the 5th time. And my grey clay fires to red. So that's how the edges of my kiln are now looking. It's much easier to dig it out too, because the edges are hard. So I just take out all the loose stuff until I get to the hard edges, and that's where my kiln is. So we're getting some pots to peek through. Those are the round-ish black spots. I can see 4. And I'm getting some blinking too. So just in case that is the pottery, I am going to bank this whole thing. And I'm losing the light anyway, so this is the perfect time. I was waiting for pots to show, and there they are. How beautiful. So I added the stones in, and I added a pot on each rock, and now I will slowly start building a fire, mostly from the edge, and then slowly start covering the pots. So we're having an issue. It doesn't look like the pottery is gonna survive. I used a different stone for the stone shelving. Like I said in the beginning, last time I used granite, this time I used a sandstone, as that is what the experimental archaeology guy was recommending, and I think my whole floor is exploding up. We have had some intense explosions, lifting everything up, stones coming right out of the kiln. So we're evacuating the area. And I think I'm just gonna let it burn out and see if anything is still alive in there, and try again. So next time, no experimenting with other stones. I'm just gonna use my granite because I know that works. It's really too bad. There were some nice pots in there. Yeah, I'm curious to see tomorrow what actually happened to the stones. Okay. Yep, and I'm turning this off just in case.
Look, I planted a tree. No.
Oh, look at that.
Another gorgeous white.
Yeah.
Sounds like pottery. So that's 3 out of 6. This one. This one is okay on the inside.
What do you mean, okay?
It's not as pretty as the other ones.
Oh, okay.
Might be actually one of the best varied ones.
Okay, go search, go fish.
I know. This is just absolute charcoal. Thorn. Oh no, this one has hair cracks in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that I dropped something. I think. Isn't that the
Whoa,
one?
those are not hair cracks. There, and around here.
Yeah, that looks like something dropped in it, all right. Yeah, see here, this is
Flick it.
splintered out.
Flick it. Didn't fire either. So, oh no, I found a cute one. There's stuff stuck on the bottom.
Okay, last one.
You sure? Yeah, 6.
Yeah, go get it. Nice. So let me show me the last one.
Okay. Oh, no. This one did not survive. At least the bottom didn't.
Yeah, so those two have the same types of cracks. Huh. Interesting. So it's 2 out of 7.
A gorgeous inside though.